Okay, guys, welcome back to Let's Get Freaky podcast. Very, very excited to welcome our guest tonight. We have got Patti Negri with us. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you, Tommy. I am great. Thank you for having me on. I'm thrilled to be here, and all is well. Happy summer here. We're having a little hot spill in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in the UK and it doesn't get as hot as LA, but well, today it's been pretty hot.
Well,
And we've got a heat wave coming, so hopefully we get a
it-
bit of sun. So you're in Hollywood.
I'm in Hollywood. I'm actually in the Hollywood Hills. If you know
Oh
that
wow.
Hollywood sign, I'm below the H and a little to the left.
Oh wow.
Right. Above, if anybody knows Hollywood, the round Capitol Records building that looks like a stack of records, I'm just above that. So I can easy to find my house from far away. Follow
That
the
is awesome. Wow, what a cool place to live, man.
It is.
That's
It is.
wild.
Thanks.
That is cool. You are a psychic medium. I know you. I've seen you on many TV shows. I've got to talk about. I've forgotten the name of it. The biggest paranormal TV show, and I've gone
Ghost
blank.
Adventure.
Ghost Adventures. Man, how can I forget that? So obviously fair to say probably the biggest or one of the biggest paranormal shows, and you've been a big
Longest
part of that.
lasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working with Zac and the guys since 2015, but they've been going, I think, 700 years before that.
Yeah. It's a huge show all over the world. I know
Yeah.
it's massive in America. It's massive here in the UK as well. What's it like to be on a show like that?
It's great because I like a challenge, I like adventure, and being the medium or the witch or the medium on, I never know where I'm going, I never know what we're doing, and I like a challenge and I like a surprise. So it's like whether I'm on a plane or I'm driving somewhere, whether it's the Cecil Hotel or a castle somewhere, I don't know anything about it. So it's great. And Zac and the guys are all really great to work with. It's just like it's an adventure. It's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Ah!
So you
Like,
don't know the location before? Oh
no, I
wow.
mean, I might have an address. Like even when it was the Cecil Hotel, which to me is still the darkest place I've ever been.
Hmm.
He he had called me a couple of weeks before and said, we're going to be in town. We want to work with you. Okay, great. And then I got a call one morning. He said, can you be here in 2 hours? And I'm like, I'm a girl. Oh my God, have I brushed my hair today? Can I get there in 2 hours? What? I need to shower. Um, he gave me an address and he said it's funky downtown, but I don't think he told me it was the Cecil. He didn't, the water tower girl and all that. I'm walking, going, this
Yeah.
looks familiar, but
Yeah.
so
That's a
if
wild place.
I really do know a location, like I've told them about locations and they've gone there. So because he wants everything, no matter what people think, completely authentic, and it is.
Mhm.
So if I know that there was a murder in that bedroom, he doesn't have me go in and I feel a murder. If I know it, I'll stand outside and go, yes, there was a murder in that bed, and this is what I experienced. He just wants it not preset, not anything that could look like it in the moment if it's not in the moment,
That's
which
so
would be,
cool. That's
yeah.
cool. I mean, the show is still as big as ever. So, you know, you guys are definitely doing something right. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. I have a new one should be on again, very different something. I'm not even like the real paranormally part of I can't talk about it yet, but that should be airing soon. And I'm shooting another one with this I can't talk about it at all with this week that I'm really excited about.
Oh wow. That's cool. Literally in the UK, it's pretty much, I'm not sure what channel it's on because it's on a few different channels.
Yeah,
And
you
it's one of
guys have
those shows that's always on.
yeah, here too. You get catch it on Travel Channel, then it goes to Max with all the streaming. I don't even know how to watch TV anymore, Tommy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, is it streaming? Is it on
Yeah.
Netflix? Is it on Amazon? Is it on network? Is it not on network? I have to have an antenna. I don't know.
Well, you get told a show now and you're like, where is it? Because there's so many different places shows are on now, Netflix
Yeah.
and Apple TV. Like, there's so many.
Or on my network on Paraflix, which again, a lot of people don't even know about yet. But might I work with Ghost Finders, Rob Thompson, and that's on Paraflix. So it's like,
Oh, cool.
I don't know how to watch TV anymore.
I'll be checking that out. Is there an app for that for Paraflix?
Paraflix, yes. It's PARAFLIXX.com. And it's really inexpensive, and we have 90% new content because if you are into the paranormal like we are, that's my dog going crazy up there. I apologize.
That's cool.
Probably seen everything on Travel Channel, Discovery, whatever, really, or whatever those channels you have.
Hmm.
So my network, you probably don't know that you guys could even see it here. I've got 90% new, I've got
Oh
tons,
wow.
90% new programming, all paranormal,
Oh,
horror. I'm not good at doing this backward.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And stuff you haven't seen yet.
Well, I will definitely be downloading that. That is for sure. Wow. I mean, paranormal for obvious is my favorite. It's my favorite genre. So I'm always watching paranormal stuff. If I'm not recording, I'm watching paranormal programs. So I love it. I'd love to go to the start where it all started for you. I'd love to know how you got into these subjects and where it all began.
Okay. Well, I have been able to see spirits since I can remember, since I was a little kid before we even started school. And all my friends, like got invisible friends, and I just knew that they weren't imaginary friends like people try to turn kids into. I think kids really do have the gift. It's just in our modern Western non-mystical society, it gets taught out of us. All the focus was put on left brain logic. It just didn't get taught out of me. Mom would always go, yeah, grandma saw that too, or grandma could do that too. So grandma could see. So I'm like, okay, I literally, and I was always kind of had this obsession with death and the other side. It wasn't morbid or it wasn't dark. It was, I literally did my first seance, which is one of the things I'm known for, when I was 7 or 8 years old in my little suburban Los Angeles home. I went in the hall where there's no windows, stuffed towels under the doors, realized I didn't know dead people. So I'm calling any old movie star that you know at 7 or 8 years old. And it filled with
Wow.
light, and orbs, and shadows. And as I went screaming out with my best friend Sherry Jones, I was also jumping up and down, going, "This is real, and this is controllable. We can open and close this." So that's
Wow.
the beginning. And on my witchy side of things, same thing. I'd find myself in my little suburban backyard picking plants and rosemary and herbs and mint and was stuffing it in my mom's wallet, knowing what would bring her more money. She didn't quite get it. She's like, "Why are you putting dirt in my wallet?" "No, this isn't dirt. This is money." "No, it's plants." "No." And then years later, I study it. I study herbs and plants and apothecary, and I was using all the right things. It's just in us.
Wow. So it's just a natural knowing that you had.
And I think again, we all have it, but we've gotten so far away from our intuition. I have a
Mhm.
new book out now about intuition. I'm just one chapter in it, but these women from all over the world, we got to wake it up, wake it back up.
Yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool that you had it growing up and it's just something that's just built in you.
Yeah,
Is it
it
in
is.
the family as well? Like
I
was your
think
mum
it's
and
in the
grandmother?
family. My mom had it, but she didn't do anything with it. But when she always said grandma did that too. I think I get it from both sides of the family. My dad was more Mediterranean, had that kind of mystical side. And my mom was like England, Wales, Scotland, had that side. And I think the two together, and here comes me.
Yeah. Wow.
So
So it didn't
yeah.
scare you as a kid, as
No,
a 7-year-old?
I mean, there was some scary ones and some not scary ones, but mostly not. I think most ghosts are good. Most people are good. You go to a ball game, you go to a mall. Most people are good. Yeah, there's a couple serial killers mixed in, or evil or dark people, but most are good. And the same in the spirit world. Now, I must say, TV doesn't show you most of the good part because they don't want to show you the happy ghosts hanging from the chandeliers because they had the best party of their life at that hotel. You have to go
Hmm.
to the insane asylum and the prison and all that stuff. But other than that, most ghosts are good. And I firmly believe that this, since I was a little kid, that this is our realm of existence. The other side of the veil really has to play by our rules. And I've lived by that, and it's been true my entire life.
Interesting. So they can't control us. We
Only
can.
if, and most people let them, with fear. If it is a negative spirit, it wants you to get scared, it wants you to get angry. So instead, be like a teacher or a parent. "Nope, my house, my body, you're not welcome. Nope, 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 you must leave." And that
Mhm.
will get rid of them. Versus, when
Yeah.
you see getting all possessed and whatever, unless they're me and you're channeling or you're doing something else, they've allowed that to happen, not knowing they had the power. unless you have a severe addiction problem or a severe mental imbalance, that could cause spirits to get in that you can't really control. So if you have a severe, and I don't mean you drink a little, or a severe addiction problem or a severe mental imbalance, then you shouldn't play in the paranormal world.
Hmm. Yeah. So how would you like when it first started for you and you was seeing spirits, how did that start for you? Were they like full bodied apparitions, or was it just a knowing that something's there, or is it
I
all of them things?
I think it's all of them because in my school now I teach mediumship development, psychic development, and I teach clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clear seeing or smelling. Sometimes you see a spirit with your outside eyes. Sometimes you see it in your third eye. Sometimes you hear it on your outside ear. Sometimes you hear that knock just inside. Same thing. Sometimes you just know there's a spirit over there. You don't see it or hear it. You smell it. And I think because I've been doing it so long, it's all meshed in. I do a little bit of all of it. There's a spirit over there. Do you see him? Oh yeah, I guess I do see him. Or I just know he's there. It just mushes together. But when I'm training people, I do teach them to differentiate, just so you know what your stronger senses are and your lesser senses are, so you know which one to use when you want them good, and you know which ones to develop to work on.
Interesting. Is it something that you can switch off?
Yes, and you have to. I have an on-off switch since I was a little kid. That's why I don't want to be one of those crazy people on the street corner. I don't want to go to the grocery store and be Long Island medium. Your mother wants to talk to you. Not want to go to the grocery store for groceries. So I picture an old-fashioned light switch on and off. I know you guys do it backwards of us. You have on
Yeah, I
and
don't
off.
know why.
But when I was a kid, I walked around with my thumb inside my fingers, which was really weird. And people were like, why do you do that? That was my off switch. I don't have to walk around like that anymore. It's just off, on. When you get
Interesting.
fancy, then you can have a dimmer switch, a little bit of everything. But
Yeah, yeah. I'll have a little bit today, but not. Wow. So can you, because obviously, like, what I find quite scary, like I've had experience, I've seen things, I've seen full bodies, apparitions, and I've seen shadow figures as well. What I find scary and what I've experienced is waking up during the night and seeing something there, and it might stay there for a little while, or it might disappear straight away. How do you handle stuff like that? Is that
that
something that
I
worries you?
think that has been, again, I have, and again, teach a million protection techniques. But that is the one drawback that I have from seeing spirits since I was a little kid. I can't sleep on my back, Tommy. I can't. I can hardly sleep on my side. My whole life, I sleep like my head in the pillow face down to protect myself, which is not good for wrinkles when you get a certain age. And when you're supposed to sleep like this, I'm like, not with your face squished into a pillow and your hands on your side. That is my one drawback. And even though now I'm not afraid, it's such a habit from childhood. I'm laying there going, I cannot sleep like this. Go upside down.
Well, I find that interesting that that still affects you because that there's something about when you're asleep, you're vulnerable. Obviously, you're trying to relax, but if there's something there, you can't. And
Yeah.
that, yeah. And I've not
No, I
experienced,
send it away and I can know I whatever, but it's just ingrained in me. So
yeah. And I've not experienced, nowhere near as much as you, but
maybe.
I still have to leave the light on, not the light on, but if I'm on my own in a hotel, I'll leave the telly on, or I might have the bathroom light on because I can't be in the dark where I know things can be.
And do you think they go away just because you leave the light of the TV
No,
on?
no, that's the thing. No, just makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did you get into, obviously, your psychic medium? How did you know that that was the path that you was going to go down? And obviously, you had this natural ability, but it was
It was
just,
not the path. I came into this kicking and screaming. It was absolutely not the path. I kept this very separate. I started out wanting to go into nursing when I was young, like 18, 19, and did that. That wasn't right because I was a performer. So I actually was a teen model. I was a dancer. I danced at the Variety Arts Center. I was a tap dancer, turned actress. I live in Hollywood. I'm born in LA. It's what you do. Um, and then when I was the ripe old age of 30 and just too old for Hollywood, I started a production company. And I'm like, these people just can't know that, number one, I talk to dead people, and number two, I dance around bonfires in a cloak. I should just keep that very private part of my life, which I already had. But in 2008, when there was a big corporate crash, and corporate everything just crashed, like, and corporate entertainment, which is what I had, the production company, became a dirty word. And all my shows kind of dried up really fast. And reality television was going building, building, building. So somebody called me and said, Patty, we need you to do one of your seances on a reality show because we want somebody legit. We want somebody. I'm like, no, thank you. I appreciate it, but that's my private life. I can't. Please, no. Please, no. Please, no. And I'm looking at my empty calendar. I'm like, no, but what's the name of the show? And literally they go, well, it's called Mobile Home Disaster and it's on country music television. I'm like, who would watch a show called Mobile Home Disaster on country music television? Well, maybe I'll do it. And little did I know everybody would watch that show and what reality would become. But anyway, so I said, okay, I would do it just once, just once. So I went, and it was like the most fulfilling thing I had done. I got to help a human little girl who everybody thought was crazy because she was drawing portals on the ceiling of their motorhome. I'm like, no, there's portals on the ceiling of her motorhome. I got to help a spirit cross over that was sort of stuck. I got to, almost best of all, kind of open the minds and hearts of their very kind of Southern Bible Belt cast and crew. Like, this isn't dark and this isn't scary and this isn't evil and this is real. And I'm like, oh, wow, this was the best day ever. This is great. But never again, one time. So it aired a couple weeks later, and it was like, okay, that was fun. But the very next day, my biggest corporate client, who I did shows nationally for, like song and dance, called me up. It's like, hey, Patty, hey, I saw you on TV last night. I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't know you were into the paranormal. I'm like, yeah, as my voice cracks. She's like, "Ah, paranormal," and started to tell me her first ghost story. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm out of the broom closet. I'm out of the psychic medium closet. This is who I am. And this is what I do. And why, if I lose clients, I lose clients. I didn't lose her. So, and I haven't looked back because I am Hollywood trained as far as how to be on camera, how to speak correctly, how to talk in sound bites, beginning, middle, and end, and not ramble on, because I've have years of professional improv and sketch training, and I'm legitimate. I became the person to call for everything. So it's like they needed a psychic, or they needed a medium, or they needed a witchy person, a spellcaster, because they knew I knew what I was doing and legit. So that's how it just came in kicking and screaming.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think everyone, most people, have got an interest in the paranormal. I would say, even people that like to think they're not interested, they don't believe it or whatever. You start the conversation that you're into it. 9 times out of 10, they've got their own experience, and they're like, it's a special thing. Everyone loves the paranormal, man.
Everybody does. And,
Yeah.
and again, I think the paranormal is going to get bigger and bigger, and is getting bigger and bigger. A couple reasons. One is the world is scary. We know that. The scary times, war, politics, just out of a pandemic. Are we all going to die? Aliens, everything. The world is scary. Traditionally, when the world's always scary, but not scary 24/7 bombardment with social media and television. We can't get away from it like they used to could. But
Hmm.
so the world is scary. And traditionally, when the world is scary, people would go back to their faith, go back to church, go back to temple, and like, let's go to church. We better go to church. That's not holding up for everybody. Some people are, but some people are like, well, it's just not working for me anymore. So therefore, the rise in more new age, more alternative belief systems. Witchcraft is the fastest growing religion in America because people want the spirituality, but it's not working. But there's still a whole group of people out there. I don't want religion. I don't even want spirituality. I don't want the woo woo stuff. I'm just scared, and I want to know if we all get blown up that there's something after this.
Mhm.
They're becoming paranormal investigators. They want to go on a ghost hunt. They don't care about, and so then they go on a ghost hunt, or they do a thing, or they watch a show, and then they figure out it's real. And then sometimes they'll backdoor into their faith or a religion or something that to navigate. To me, your path is so you can navigate life in this world.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I don't know how anyone can't believe in the paranormal now. I think
I
we're at
don't
that point.
with technology and how technology like an SLS, it's insane. I mean, ghosts know how to use plain old cell phones now. I got a call from somebody who's been dead 5 years. Hmm. Um,
Oh, wow.
and because like in olden days, it was the candle, and then it was the light flashing off in a haunted house. Now we have all this technology. Now we have SLS cameras and K2 and this and that. Um, and what I like how technology proves it is like me as a medium. Maybe I'm around my seance table. Maybe I'm doing a gallery for 1,200 people, but I will say, okay, all right, well, there's a ghost doing jumping jacks and kicking their left foot on the table over there. You believe me or you don't believe me, and that's how it's been forever. Now there's somebody with an SLS camera in the other room who can't hear or see me, and they've got a ghost doing jumping jacks and kicking their left foot to just kind of it's proving what I'm saying, I'm proving what he's saying, so it's like yay.
Did you say someone called you up that had been past for 5 years?
Yes, it
Oh,
was what it
wow.
was. I get it was literally on my cell phone. It said call from David Coleman. I'm like, that was my husband's best friend and bandmate who had been dead for 5 years. I'm like, well, maybe his wife had kept it or something. That could happen, not change the name, weird. So I answered it and there was nobody there, just dead silence. So I called it back. It was disconnected, and it had been disconnected for years. But I got a call from David Coleman.
That's
I
weird.
spirits are good. They know. I literally doing a little mediumship, a seance, and I was working with a Ouija board at the time. I literally, this young guy had died cancer and leaving a young wife and a young kid, and she sat with his iPhone and didn't know the code. Um, and this was about the same time several years ago when I remember the FBI was trying to get Apple to give a code for some criminal case, and Apple's like, nope, 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 it's private. The spirit gave me that code so his wife could open it. So I'm like, well, damn, they should have just used a Ouija board to talk to a medium to get. I say, well, so yeah, it's they
Wow.
have practical information.
Yeah. Wow. That's so cool. So what's some of your freakier experiences? You're on Let's
My,
Get Freaky. I
my
wanna
freakiest experience was one
so
that stands out. I've talked about it before, but not for you and not for your audience. It was right in my own neighborhood. I live in the, like I said, Hollywood Hills. It's an old 1920s neighborhood. The first movie enclave when Hollywood was getting formed. I have a little 1920s bungalow, but so it'd go little workers bungalow, like the writers college, and then the movie star mansion, and it's little all mixed together in the hills under the Hollywood sign. There was this house, and it looks like a haunted house. It's like one of the movie star houses. It was built by Charlie Chaplin, the silent film star, for one of his girlfriends, one of his many girlfriends, Mary Astor. She was a movie star, a silent movie star. The house was a super party house for years. I mean, insane, those early 20s, 30s, 40s, crazy parties um, for years and years. And then they moved out. And then the Rolling Stones manager bought the house, and the Stones stayed there, Mamas and Papas, Graham Parsons. So again, very creative, high energy, probably a party house, party house going on and on. And then a few years later, they moved out. And then the person who invented the real life sex doll moved in, and the house got too scary for him and all this stuff going on. And he moved out. And then my neighbor, Marilyn Manson, moved in,
wow.
and he recorded in the dirt base. It's always the dirt basement, no matter where you go. It's always you recorded and it eventually got too scary for him. But they were doing a
Wow.
documentary about this film, and I was doing a seance there, and I had all these young people around the table. And when you're not too far past puberty, but not too far into your 20s, you have so much life force. That's when poltergeist stuff happens and crazy stuff. My whole seance table was filled with those people. And so, and it was a 4-camera shoot. So this got captured. It was a 4. So the one thing I asked for, I go, you could be skeptic. I don't care if you believe, you could be this, but the one rule I have is that you have to be respectful, because everybody wants to be respected, living or dead or elemental or whatever. Yes, that's the only time I've ever gotten in trouble. But this one kid kept getting disrespectful and saying stupid things, maybe because he was being filmed, maybe because just a smart aleck kid. But this one spirit was getting really mad, really angry, and I felt it building like this. And then all of a sudden, the French doors, those old-fashioned French doors, flew open, both of them at once, and everybody's screaming. The cameras caught it. And I'm like, the producer side is like, wow, that's pretty good. Okay, French doors flew open, and then we closed them up, sealed them again, and like we're getting more and more. And he said something else really stupid. The French doors flew open again, and like, ah, and I'm like, this is great. But I felt this tension getting it, and it getting darker and heavier and darker and heavier. So then he said something else stupid. And next to an old-fashioned record player, a speaker, you know, people set the speakers on the floor, came on, white noise. Sounded just like a spirit box, just white noise. We didn't know it at the time, but look later, it wasn't even plugged in. White noise came on.
Oh, wow.
It was like, oh my God, everybody's getting edgy and antsy and excited. But I felt this heavy duty information coming in. We're working with a Ouija board, which I've worked with safely since I was 8 years old, working with a Ouija board. But he said something, and getting some really heavy stuff that happened in the 1930s or something. He said something stupid again, and not him, but the cameraman facing him right across the table burst into flames, Tommy. Like a V up his back,
Oh,
angel wings of fire. He was not standing in front of a fireplace or in front of a candle, just spontaneous combustion like Spinal Tap. He burst into flame. Everybody's screaming. 2 cameras caught it on film. One camera started filming the ceiling or the floor. You test the metal or strength of a camera person by a small room with a lot of people bursting into flames. Me, witch medium Pattie becomes medic Pattie, of which I am. I'm EMT sort of. I'm like, drop and roll. I'm calling my drop and roll. This is not, we are done. Shutting the veil, shutting the veil. This is not okay. I've never stopped to shoot or think. You don't burst into flames on my watch. This is not okay. The cameraman, who was a total skeptic, he was so intrigued by this. He's like, I spontaneous combusted. I'm okay. We watched his shirt burn off him like, psh. It was like cotton. It should not have went poof like a nylon or polyester, just disintegrate. I'm watching the blistering on his back. Like, this is not okay. You have to go to the doctor. We are done. But he's like, no, I'm okay. I have a sweater. I'll be okay. I'll take care of it. I'm like, I knew the kid who caused it was no longer going to be a problem at all.
yeah, yeah.
He
That was a
definitely became the choir boy in the choir. It's like,
that
okay,
was a lesson.
girl, yeah. I talked to the spirit, who's just a cranky big old. He wasn't demonic. I think demons get way too much credit. I think 90% of what people think is demonic is just cranky ass ghosts. Just like really cranky in life, cranky in death. He's big, theatrical. I'm going to light you on fire. That's it. So anyway, he promised he would somewhat behave. Not that he did. He threw glasses out, but he somewhat behaved. Almost tried to push the same guy off the a cliff. But the positive end to this crazy story is 3 weeks later, the camera guy who caught on fire, he showed me his back. He goes, Pattie, look at my back. And where the scarring from the blistering was, totally looked like he had went and got a tattoo of a dragon. Open mouth, sharp teeth, winged head, into the shape of a serpent. And that is the exact energy I called in to shut down the seance. I work dragon magic. My spooky dragons everywhere I go.
Oh, I
I'm
love
like,
that.
that is it. I called in to shut, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, that is the coolest thing I have ever seen. You have a tramp stamp of a dragon on your back.
Wow.
And he thought so too. He was like, he was so intrigued. He was a filmmaker in his own right. He made the Big Bronies film. He wrote, they haven't done it yet, and I don't know if they're gonna, but he wrote a horror film with Stephen Norrington. That's the guy who wrote The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the Blade Vampire series. He wrote a funny horror film about this TV medium who does every TV show, basically about me. And then a portal opens, and then it turns into one of those funny, spooky things. I hope Margot Robbie plays me, or
Yeah.
but and um and that's the kind of horror film but I must say, for all of us who do TV and YouTube and podcasts, I sat down with him for 5 hours with the script, and I go, Laurent, you can't say that in the script. You can't have an actor say that. He goes, but you said that. I go, I know I said that. That causes a shift in energy. That opens a portal. You don't want to be one of those cursed horror films, do you? It happens all the time.
Mhm.
Spirit, energy, good or bad, doesn't know the difference of an actor reciting lines and somebody really doing a ritual to do something. So
Mhm.
let's change those words. They'll sound as spooky or mystical or magical, but they won't open a, portal to hell,
Yeah.
because it's been too many. So luckily Hollywood's getting that and hiring more and more consultants and things like that. But so if they ever do it, it won't be one of those cursed films where all the actors die at 27 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which unfortunately you hear very often with
yes, you
films
do.
like that, which is, and that's
Change
not a
every
coincidence.
yeah.
I can't believe the spirit lit the guy up. That is wild.
Yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah, that was crazy. And my only other really painful one was at my own house. Again, I dropped the ball in my setup. I was with my then producer of my old podcast, and we were talking to her friend in spirit, and I hadn't set it up right. And we were going to do a thing on the Black Dahlia. So Dr. George Hodel, we had a bunch of stuff, and we had an AP reporter coming in. So I had not set up my protectors or claimed my intent or what we were doing yet. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is not your friend we're talking to. And he pushed me against the back of my chair. I have these antiques so hard. I heard this crack, crack, crack around my ribs. I'm falling to the floor. And my friend, she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm really not. And I always say I'm okay. I can literally have a hand cut off and go, oh, it's fine. It's a flesh wound. But I'm like, no, and then all this crazy stuff happened. I had to go to urgent care. He had hit me, a spirit had hit me so hard and pushed into a chair that it ripped all the cartilage off my ribs and my floating
oh
ribs.
man.
For a month.
Wow. So those that say ghosts can't hurt you, that's not true.
That's not true. That is not true. They can. We don't have to let them. But again, I drop the ball. I take full responsibility. When I'm with other people doing a seance, doing a paranormal investigation, doing a gallery, working one-on-one, I'm right on it. I'm the good driver. But it
Mhm.
was me and one of my best friends just messing around. And on that other thing, we knew what we were getting into. When you're doing filming, you have to let the dark stuff in because, again, that's what they want. So people know what they're getting into. But
Yeah.
I let it pass me. Oops.
Yeah. Wow. That's some scary stuff. You said that earlier Marilyn Manson was your next door neighbor, which is wild to me. That's wild.
He's
Uh,
a good neighbor.
yeah, I
He's a
bet.
great, you know.
What's that like living next to
I
a
live in
legend?
Hollywood. Everybody,
That's
everybody's
wild.
somebody in Hollywood. I live in the hills. It's a creative little, again, 1920s neighborhood.
Hmm.
So everybody's an actor, musician, a writer, a lawyer, or whatever for the entertainment business. We're in the heart of it. He
Yeah.
was a neighbor, quiet. He was not always, I mean, he is who he is, but he was not walking around doing Maryland. He was just a skinny guy in a white t-shirt and shorts,
Yeah.
in the front yard.
You're killing the dream.
Yeah.
So what's some of the biggest like names you've read for or worked with?
I can't tell you. I am the queen of the non-disclosure agreement. I mean, you have to sign. I have some of the things I can talk about. I've worked with Emma Stone thing. I have worked, I do a lot of house clearings. You may not know who he is, but in the 80s, the world's biggest producer was this guy named Aaron Spelling. He produced like Love Boat and Fantasy Island. He was the
Oh
Hollywood.
wow.
I got his ghost out of that was the biggest house in LA, Spelling Manor, like 50 bedrooms. And he wouldn't leave. So I had to get his ghost out. one of the darkest clearings I ever did. You know, Phil Spector, the guy, the Wall of Sound Music, and he
Mhm.
killed actually a friend of mine, Lana Clarkson. I got icky, dark, oozy spirits out of his castle. He had a castle in LA. I work with tons of celebrities. They're just regular people too. They really are. Um, but most of it's confidential.
Yeah, no, of course. Is LA, because when I think of LA, I don't really think of like, I know there's a lot of history there, but I don't always think spooky stuff. Is there a lot of haunted history in LA? Like, is it quite a spooky
We
place?
we have a lot because a couple of reasons. One, big in life, big in death. People who come
Hmm.
to LA from everywhere. They're people with big dreams, whether they want to be an actor, musician, rock star, writer, director, whatever. Big energy people. And the reason I believe that Hollywood or LA is right where it is, there are these energy vortexes in Griffith Park, right near the Hollywood sign. And they're like, they're not marked or anything, but you would feel them. Everybody, they're like energy vortex of creativity. They're the biggest one is in Griffith Park, which is literally halfway between Burbank and Hollywood, the entertainment capitals of the world. And they go all the way down to Malibu. And these energy vortexes bring in the more creative right brain people. Every time I've been to this little vortex, there'll be lovers kissing or people playing the guitar, actors rehearsing, nuns praying. It brings in this creative energy. And I have a little baby one in my backyard. It's like, yeah, you feel it. And I think that's why Hollywood is it's in Long Beach or 30 miles this way or 30 miles that way. And it's not just the creatives, it's the spiritual. Again, same right brain. Within my little Hollywood area, I have at least 7 major spiritual centers, from the Vedanta Society, Self-Realization Fellowship, the Katana Theosophy Center, the Scientologist, a Catholic monastery, magical things, all just we cluster around the vortex.
Interesting. Do you think that's why Hollywood is what it is? Because before that, there's always been something special going on there,
Something
even
special.
before
And it's
Hollywood
been
was there.
Native American ground, so we have lots of haunted house. We're not old. Like when I go back, we're new. So the oldest things we have are the cowboy towns, like Virginia City or Nevada City or Vulture City or Butte, Montana, because that's people came out and started mining towns. You go back east and you get a lot older. They started in the 1600s. Go over your side of the pond and it's older and older. So we don't have old, but we have powerful, because again, high vibration people are going to be high vibration spirits.
Hmm.
And there's something under downtown, because truly the darkest place I've ever been is the Cecil Hotel. You know, that's the one with the girl in the water tower.
Yeah,
You just within a half a block, you want to kill yourself. You're just so depressed. And
really.
sadly, sadly they're moving in like homeless and low income people right now, and they're already like jumping out of windows, and because it affects living people to just take away all hope, and it affects not living people. It's got spirits stuck there. It's dark.
Hmm.
Been
Yeah.
there probably more than anybody. I filmed a 2-part ghost adventures there. I filmed a 4-part with my YouTubers, TFIL Overnight, Elton and Corey, a 4-part with them. I did not too long ago, a CW show about it. So I've bribed my way in on occasion. So that place is, every womb you walk by is a different sadness, a different depression, a different anger, a different hopelessness.
Wow. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, one of the biggest stories that came out of there was the girl that was found in the water tank.
Yeah,
She,
she had been missing for 3 weeks. So they thought the water tasted funny and smelled funny. That girl had been in this water tower for 3 weeks.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
did that the elevator game and didn't know what's what. So yeah,
Yes. It
that
seemed
place.
like she was like communicating with something, but you obviously you couldn't see what that
Yeah,
was, and then she
she,
just went missing.
yeah, just went missing, and it took them that long to find her. It's like but
Wow.
she did not insanity walk herself up that steep ladder, open a big door to a water tower and get in.
Hmm.
Just she did not.
Yeah.
Um, poor girl, and and yeah, when I was there, um with Ghost Adventures, again, I'm getting so depressed and I'm walking in, and I go into trance state. I allow myself to go into trance state even before, because I know that's what I'm going to do. So I get in and I'm just like, I just want to die. And there's Zach and Aaron and the guys, and they've got their cameras strapped on, they've got their equipment. They're going, hi Patty. I'm like, hey. They're going, okay, there's 700 rooms, there's 14 floors, they are all open, they are all unlocked. You tell us where to go. And I'm just like, I just want to kill myself. So I'm like,
Oh
I go,
wow.
okay, go to the elevator. I went to the elevator and I'm like, oh, this is that elevator. Okay, I pushed a button and I took them up and I went into this room. They're a horrible little decrepit, unkempt. And I'm like, I've just got to get out of here. And I walk to a window and I'm opening a window and I'm like, I just got to get out of here. And all of a sudden, Zac Bagans, he's going, sit down. Patty, what are you doing? Close that window. Why are you opening that window? Sit down. And in my, I'm like, it's like a dream state, my trance state. It's like when you're going into or out of it. I'm like, and I'm thinking, why is he yelling at me? Zac never yells at me. That's so weird. And he's like, sit down. He finally made me sit down. Out of the 700 rooms, I led them to a room somebody had jumped out of that exact window. And I am there opening the window going, I have to get out of here. There was no screen on it or anything. So he got me
Oh,
to sit down. And with the SLS camera, there was a little guy on top of my head manipulating me. So we got out of that room. And then then I led him to a second room. And all of a sudden, I felt myself being attacked and I'm holding myself. I looked like a little 8-year-old kid who had to go pee or something, holding myself down there, holding myself, going, I don't know what to do. I can't get out of this. I don't know where to go. And Zach again, he's like, where are you being attacked? And the part of me that I keep myself that knows, okay, I'm on national television. How do you say that body part on TV? I don't know what I said, like lady parts or female parts. Out of the 700 rooms, my second room, I led him to a room where a woman had been raped and murdered, a woman who lived there and fed the birds. It's crazy. And then more and more and more and more stuff. Those are the two that made it on TV, but so much. And then when I went back with Elton and Corey, even less rules because they're YouTubers and not less network rules.
mhm.
We had a big box on the roof. We got to go everywhere. But again, I was doing that same channeling thing. And we were in a hallway and I thought I was talking and I thought I was just chattering away and I was rocking. I do tend to rock anyway when I'm in trance. But it's so hard. Somebody had to put their hand behind my head. I did not, but I thought I was talking, talking, talking. All they heard was gibberish. Just blah, blah. I didn't know that. But Corey, one of the guys who I've been working with, he goes, we should play that backwards. They played it backwards and I was talking English backwards. It's like, holy,
Whoa.
I couldn't do that if you paid me $1 million. I can't I'm so non-dyslexic.
Wow.
I can't spell my first name. I can spell backward. My last name, I'd have to think about Negri. I, I,
That's
we
wild.
weird. I've never done that since.
What was you saying?
I don't remember, just kind of gibberish, but it was
Mhm,
probably, I definitely was like a drug addict tweaker, which half the people that live there since it was built, that's been
mhm.
a place of depression. It was built and then the big depression hit in the 20s and it's always been a place of sadness, failure and depression. And I think it's built on some land that is the same. It's right the swath through chicken it through like Skid Row. It's just had everything going against it since day one.
Yeah. And it had like serial killers living there and stuff like that.
Yeah, Richard Ramirez lived there, some German serial killer lived there. More people jumped out of windows, threw people out of windows, thrown babies out of windows. And sadly, it's happening again. They're trying to hide it.
Man.
I wish I couldn't clear that place by myself. Literally, I want to, and I know they'd never let me do it. I'd have to ask forgiveness. I would like to gather every, I don't know, energy worker, healer, priest, rabbi, shaman, witch, medicine man, voodoo priest, everyone of energetic magic, and do a big hold hands around the building and clear it for those poor people moving in.
Yeah.
Because they don't even want to move in. They'd rather sadly live on the street than go into that sadness and depression. They're having trouble filling it.
Wow.
And
So it's not a
ambulance
hotel anymore.
ambulance pulls up every day.
Man. So it's not a hotel anymore. It's just people just live in
It's
accommodation now.
Well, it's people. It's not a hotel anymore. It's for people who qualify, no income or low income,
Hmm.
subsidized by the city. Great idea. We have so many homeless people. Here is 700 rooms. Concept great. Not the building, not the building.
Mm. This is some bad energy.
Yeah.
Did you connect with the spirit of the girl that was found in the tank?
Um, Not very much, a little tiny bit, but I never could get a big grasp on her. I never could. I don't know if she's being held down. There is something like what I call an egregore, a topaz, that's so been created there. It's bigger than a sum of all its parts, like a outside topa, egregore, servitor, that's created. And it, again, it's affecting living people, depression, and it's affecting spirits that are stuck there. That one spirit that I think I chatted, I talked to a few others. They're being held down. It's bad.
Hmm. Did they ever get to the bottom of what happened? I'm trying to remember. I don't think they did get to the bottom of what happened to that girl. Is
Nope.
that right?
No.
It's very sad. Yeah.
But weirdly, things were taken out of the transcripts and stuff. So no,
Hmm.
then said, I don't even know how they found her. Maybe because the water was tasting so bad after 3 weeks. Oh,
Yeah, people was drinking yeah. Oh,
yeah.
not good.
But that area is gooky because it's funny, downtown LA. So right across the street is kind of a high-end building. You know, everybody moves to artsy lofts and stuff. There's a doorman, it's fancy and expensive, but the ooze goes up. There's this one house I've had to clear a couple times because literally you see it oozes back up the building and gets in. You have to do all these extra protection techniques.
Hmm.
Besides the fact that you're in the middle of like Skid Row, scary downtown.
Yeah, yeah. So how would you describe yourself as a white witch or
I use the word good witch over
good
white witch
witch? Okay.
because white means so many things and connotations. And I'm a big fan of the Wizard of Oz and
Mhm.
Glenda.
Yeah.
I have that big pink dress.
Oh
I'm working
wow.
trying to show up in the big bubble, but I haven't figured that one out yet. I know they have one of those big bubbles that sports people use, but
Hmm.
bring it in from the heavens, I haven't got down yet. But I good means a lot of things and they're all positive. So, you know, I only do work high vibration. Again, I don't like good or evil. I work high vibration because not good or evil, heaven or hell, but you have to live in the world you create. So
Hmm.
if I live in a world of dark magic, controlling magic, hexes or curses, I have to live in that world. Why not send out love and happiness and abundance? You can get everything you want with positive magic. So why bring in the dark side? You don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Is the community of witches in Hollywood? Is there a big community of you guys in Hollywood?
There is.
That's awesome. Because
There
you
is.
said it. You said about dancing around a bonfire.
Yeah.
You do
We
stuff like
have,
that.
yes. We have some beautiful, a lot of metaphysical stores or occult stores, or some of them are new age stores. But again, with the rise in spirituality and alternative belief systems and stuff, whether they call themselves witches or shamans or Native Americans, it's all going into that shamanic working with the land, working with the spirits of the land, working with more than just, you know, one big mighty God Almighty. So there's some beautiful public rituals for the different seasons and stuff from several stores all over. So we are the liberal left coast, west coast. You know, I know it's slightly different in like the middle of the country in the Bible Belt, but that's getting better too. I tour all over and I haven't been burned at the stake yet.
Are you heading to the UK soon? Am I right in saying
Yes,
that?
I am. I'm going to be there in September. I am
Oh
so
wow.
excited. With one of the girls, Liz Leguims, I don't get her name right. She's a witch. She's a Norse witch. She's an archaeologist and an expert. We're doing this real beginning of September, the tour of the weird and worm. So it's going to be dragon magic. What do we call ourselves? Haunted house, tour of the weird and worms, phantasmtours.com if anybody wants to go. And again,
Awesome.
if we're going to get witchy and magical, all positive, but we're going to go to sacred sites and castles and do seances and magic. So anybody on either side of the pond, I know somebody from who's in England now going because they want this kind of magical experience and people coming over. So anybody interested, come with us. It's going to be once in a lifetime with Liz and me. I met her at Bosworth Hall a couple years ago at a paranormal convention,
Oh
at
cool.
Karen Frey's convention, and we just hit it off like this. Now she teaches at my school, University Magicus. and I'm so excited about going. So I will be there in September, and then next May I'm doing a tour of Ireland. Another tour of Ireland with May Hearn, and we're going to be there for Beltane and the fire festivals, and yay.
Awesome. What part of the UK are you coming to?
I don't know, all over the place.
Oh, okay. We have to
I
come down to Dorset. That's where I
I,
am.
don't, I have no sense of direction. Somebody just sent me a T-file with all of Europe on it, and I need to look.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the big Hollywood sign above my head, I wouldn't even find my way home. I have a really bad sense of direction. It's like, where are we? No,
Yeah.
I wake up every day and go, what time zone am I? What part of the world am I in? I know we're going to magical and spooky places, but and sacred places. If anybody really goes to phantasmtours.com, it lays out. I know we're going to the Pendleton Penner.
Oh, I've gone blank.
Of it starts with Penny
Pendleton, is it?
Pendleton. Oh, we're going there.
Yeah. Where the UK sort of the witch trials took place in the UK. Is
I
that
think
right?
so. Maybe.
Oh, might have got
No, I
that right.
haven't done my
If,
research.
if Google it, guys.
Google it. But all sorts
Google
of
it.
really cool places. And anybody who's looked at it said it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Awesome. That's cool.
so
I've
that's
got to
what.
ask you as well, because you was talking about dragons earlier as well.
Yes, I'm a dragon
Super,
girl.
super fascinating. Can I do you think dragons are around or have been around?
They have been around always. They are mystical teachers. They are in the ethers. But to know, you don't even have to believe that dragons are real fire breathing. I personally do, but again, on the other side of the veil, like cryptids and aliens and everything else. But if the energy of dragon, they've been around forever. Every culture has them.
Hmm.
Chinese dragon, Japanese dragon, the medieval dragon, every culture, the flying, the sea, the serpents, they've been around forever. But what makes them special, whatever, is and why they're making a big not comeback. They've always been around because we need them. If you just look at them as energy, you don't have to believe they're real. Dragons live at the crossroads. So think about it. Everybody likes angels, whatever your religion. Angels are beautiful. Angels are up here, the highest of heavens. They're dextral. Angels can do two things, two good things, beautiful. They can enlighten and protect. That's what angels do because they're dextral. They don't have a sinstral side. Sinstral means shift and change. The word sin comes from it, but not in the Christian sense of sin. It means shift. But so I would not go to Archangel Michael to get me a raise in my day job or to bring me a new boyfriend or girlfriend, you know. But dragons can fly between heaven and earth. So they live at the crossroads. And anybody who does magic, crossroads is where magic happens. Just even think about it like a one-way road. If you're on a one-way road, you go here and then you go there and you go here and that's it. You go back or forth. As soon as you get to an intersection, you have all these options. That's where dragons live. So they are powerful. I teach people. I can't tell you really how many movie stars, sports stars, politicians have this little cheap plastic dragon next to their bed or on their altar or by their computer. I teach them how to breathe life. You're creating a fetish. Or golem or servitor, a real living entity out of an inanimate object. It starts out a piece of plastic, and then you have a living spirit. We work with spirit guides. We put spirits into everything. Our lucky plant, the Buddha, we rub the belly, the cat statue, our haunted dolls, so since I've been teaching people how to charge their dragons, you have to feed them, you give them their water every day. They drink so fast when they're working. Mine move around.
Hmm.
Since I've been teaching people how to add dragons into their life, that got a little bright. Okay. Anyway, it got bright in here as we talk about dragons. Sorry, it's a little glare.
That's okay.
Um, so since they've literally, I've seen miraculous things. One, like this woman was in an abusive relationship, stuck in it. It happens all the time, money, children, and he did the same thing. Nothing she could do or say would stop it. She charged herself a dragon. She took it home. He did it again the next day. And she's like, but she realized she hadn't told her dragon what she wanted. They are not like your spirit guides. They are not tell you what to do. You have to tell him. And he's never touched her or bat again. He's never done it. My most
Interesting.
publicized one is I live in Los Angeles, the LA Dodgers. That's our big baseball team.
Yes.
They had won like 20 games in a row. And then Sports Illustrated magazine did a special on them, and they lost like 20 games in a row. And then they use the word superstitious. They don't use the word spiritual or religious or magical. It's the curse. It's the Sports Illustrated curse. So they called me in. We charged a little blue dragon. Here we are. We made LA television. We made ESPN Sports Television National, and they won the World
Wow.
Series. And one person, like, if you travel, you could leave it home and it's not going to eat, or take it with you. But one girl, she was with on a girls' weekend, and she said, all of a sudden, she grabbed her two girlfriends at a big concert in Vegas. She goes, my dragon said we had to leave. And they're like, are you crazy? What do you mean? We paid so much for these tickets. She dragged them out. Seconds later, that massacre at Mandalay Bay in Vegas, where the guy fishbowled an automatic weapon right where they were standing. And she said, my dragon had a voice, an outside voice, and got her out of there. They're powerful beasts. They're crossroads, magical, positive, beautiful beasts.
Wow.
Everybody
Wow.
needs to go to my book. You can learn how to charge it. Old Real Magic 101.
Yeah. Wow.
Uh,
And the LA
I
Dodgers was,
it's amazing. I do have to get ready to go though, because
yeah,
I
I know. I was
5
just going to
minutes.
say, so that 2020 when the LA Dodgers won the championship, was that year?
I think
And
so.
that was down to you. Wow.
No, to the
That's
dragon. I
to the
just
dragon.
I just facilitated.
Wow. Patty, this has been, I know you've got to go. Thank you so much for coming on Let's
Thank
Get
you,
Freaky.
Tommy.
I
This was
really
great.
enjoyed talking to you. Can you
Thank
tell the
you.
listeners where they can find you?
Yes, everywhere. PattiNegri.com, PattiNegri.com, to get to my legitimate. My Facebook's a little weird. I have a page that's hard to get to because of hackers. I have a new page that's little. Instagram is Patti.Negri, but you can get to my real places from PattiNegri.com. This is my book where you can learn how to be magic too. You don't have to be a witch or a medium, but how to bring magic in your life. And please like me, follow me on social media. I have my own podcast called The Witching Hour with amazing, smart guests every week. I have a funny podcast called The Witches Movie Coven every Wednesday. I have a school where you can learn to do what I do called universitymagicus.com, where for the cheapest spirituality school in the world, you could learn to be a medium and a spellcaster and a paranormal investigator. But anyway, you can get all there from PattiNegri.com. So please join me. And thank you for
Awesome.
having me on, Tommy. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll share the links in the show description.
Right,
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back very soon for more freaky conversations. In the meantime, stay safe and keep it freaky. Bye for
thank
now.
you.
Thank you
Bye.
very much, Patty. Thank you.